Alright. What's up with some my good people? This is your girl, Ms. Good News. What's up? We getting into it, okay? Artists from all over the world, but right here, we got an artist from Greensboro, North Carolina, okay? Greensboro, where you at? What you doing? I'm gonna let this artist right here introduce yourself. Go ahead and let them know who you are.
I go by the artist name of About Time out of Greensboro, North Carolina.
About Time. Is that what it is? What is it about time for? Please tell us. And I did say for. I ain't say for. What is it about time for?
Success. Stepping out of pocket, getting into my lane, chasing my dreams. I had a lot of hardships keep me down, and it's about time that I share my story and my testimony and get to the other side and get to the end of the rainbow.
Well, listen, I feel like the only way to get to it, and when I say get to it, I'm talking about success, is to go through it.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think a lot of times one of the bad things in life is that people don't know their story and they cannot elaborate on their story, so they find themselves in this perpetual cycle of going over it and over and over.
Insanity.
Yeah, that's it.
Insanity. I could share a lot of insanity with you.
Well, let's get into it. When was that first moment where you was like, man, I gotta change? Like, what is that situation or that thing that said, I gotta change, I gotta do something different?
Drug addiction. I suffered from drug abuse for 16 years.
Wow.
I used since I was 15 up until I was 31 when I decided to leave Burlington, North Carolina, where I'm originally from. And I just picked up and left. All I had was a suitcase and $1 in my pocket. I was at the end of my road. I was in a marriage that was very toxic. And I had to exchange custody of my daughter at a Dollar General on Highway 62 in Alamance County. So
Wow.
I took off, left, never turned back, got clean at 31. I'll be 8 years clean this July. So,
Man, that's good right there. No, that's deep. Why, see, and we was just talking off camera. You never know what nobody's been through.
You help people when you behind whatever your craft is. Like, interviewing is your craft. When you interview, you help people. When I go behind the mic and I spit my legs, I'm helping somebody. As long as my music can engage with one person, one set of ears,
Right.
I consider myself blessed.
Well, look, you done said a mouthful. Now, see, you trying to get into it. Now, I done put the plan up here, but I ain't know you was going to get a life. Now, I ain't know you was going to get a life. No, that's amazing to fight that addiction, because to be perfectly honest, there's a lot of people who are suffering with addiction. We can go down the list of types of addiction, but there's so many people that are suffering with addictions. One of the top, I think, addictions right now is phones and social media. Like, how do you think that has impacted the lives of people and being creative? Because you're an artist, you have to be creative to come up with these things.
The biggest thing that I'm learning, first you have to find your sound, and your sound has to be authentic.
Yes.
A lot of advice that I get is be you. Everybody else is already taken. Be you. And there's a lane for your music. You may not see it at first, and it's very hard with social media because, like, whether people want to admit it or not, we compare ourselves to what we see on the highlight reel.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
you don't know what people had to do to get to that success. You don't know how people live behind closed doors. It's easy for somebody to put on something nice, put out a jazzy quote, get a whole bunch of likes and stuff like that. But it's like, if you're not true to yourself and you're not authentic, you'll take any lane, not knowing. It goes back to, don't sign your soul to the devil. Don't sign that dotted line.
Man.
And it's like, I'd rather have one real listener than 1,000 people that are just listening to me because I'm trending this week.
Right.
You know, you could have a whole bunch of followers. Don't get me wrong. You could have a whole bunch of followers, but the main question is who gonna follow you to the end.
Right, because I feel like that goes along the lines with supporters. Yep. You know, like trending is cool, but after that viral moment, then what?
That's it.
You know, then what? So you, like you say, you have to stay true. Like, how do you find yourself being able to stand true? Even I know that you again had hardship. That I'm pretty sure it helped to cultivate that self-discipline and self-control. Mm-hmm. But what are some things that you have to kind of focus on to stay grounded?
You gotta stand on principles. You gotta stand on business. If you fall for it, you know what I'm saying? If you don't stand on no principles, no grounds, no foundation, you gonna fall for anything.
That's right.
So you gotta, you know what I'm saying, with yourself, you gotta be in tune with yourself, your morals, your values, what you do co-sign and what you don't co-sign.
Right. Man, look, so you got me. I want to talk about a lot of stuff there. But listen, how do you implement your struggle and your story into your song? Because I feel like that is truly the art of artists. Mm-hmm. If you're not able to convey your story into your song and the things you see, then that's when people come lacking. How are you able to put your lessons, life lessons in your music?
I'm a writer. I've always been a writer. I started writing poetry when I was about 12 or 13, and writing has just always been my lane. And you know, one year I just picked up the courage and I started writing the beats and stuff, and I let a couple people listen. It's like, man, you got something. You got a story to tell. Like, you trust the pen, you trust the process. And to me, like when I write, it's like talking to God. It's like that's that conversation that me and God had. And if people engage with it, people engage with it. And if people don't. I mean, you got, you know, listeners that like the whole wave that's going through, you know, the short attention span where it's just one verse and, you know what I'm saying, a dope beat, and then you actually have that listener who engages with the music. To me, music says things that I can't say. When you going through stuff and you turn on that go-to song that you have that fits any situation that you're going through, and that go-to song that you go to in the car, and that song says what you can't say at that moment. And
I like that. That's good. Because you think of comedians, they get to say pretty much anything and kind of hide behind the fact that I'm just being funny. But with music, like you saying, I'm just painting a picture. Like, this is a story that I'm telling. You know, and so that's amazing.
Because you gotta grab your audience. Like, there's a lot of people that want to be grabbed. They just don't want, okay, that beat's good, da da da. Like, today when you make a record, like when I make music, I try to make a record that people will go back to. Not just play in that season. Right. I want to make a record that a couple years from now, like whatever that person is going through, whatever, they could go back to that record and make it relate.
That's longevity though, you know what I'm saying? Like that. So how do you come up with your songs? Is it just, man, okay, I've been through this and this is what I'm gonna talk about? Is it multiple things? Like, are you looking at society and saying, you know, all right, let me go ahead and write a fun track? Do you do those kind of tracks? Like, what's your lane, or do you have one?
That's a really good question. My manager Doeja, he's been trying to
shout out. You already know we love you,
Big Doeja. Shout out. He's been trying to get me into, you got to make a record for this audience, that audience, and it's challenging me a lot, but it's showing me how versatile I am as an audience. But my main lane is paint music. Sit there and think, like, I gotta paint a picture for you. But he's been challenging me. He's been challenging me in my pen game a lot.
I like that though. A challenge is good.
Yeah, because that's how you grow.
Yes.
Like, if I'm comfortable, I'm not growing. But if I'm uncomfortable and I'm being challenged, like, he'll be like, all right, we're gonna do this, and it's like, and then when I see the outcome of it and I hear the record, I'm like, he like, see See?
Wow.
And people still vibe to it. People still vibe to it. So it's been fun. It's been a fun season.
That's good. So what are you working on right now? What are you pushing right now?
Shout out to Young Yankee, me and the artist Young Yankee out of Mebane, North Carolina. We're working on a EP right now. And it has been really fun. It's been a lot of different moods and modes on the singles. You got the club songs, you got the go get to the bag song,
right.
You got the deep talk songs, and you got the get in the car and let's ride after having a long day.
We need them all. We need them all. Yes, I love it. So, okay, so is that the single that you're pushing right now?
The single that we're pushing now, it is actually dropping tomorrow on my birthday. It's called Draft Night. It's featuring Young Yankee. Shout out to Eddie Ruger in Greensboro, North Carolina as well, and featuring Eddie Ruger. And it's just, once you hear the record, you'll get it.
Okay, and happy early birthday.
Thank you. Pisces season.
Okay. I'm more like Aries, but it's okay. We ain't gonna get into it. But so how long have you been doing music as a career?
I don't call it my career. Like, I have my main job. I make cereal for a living. I have my main job that puts the food on the table, and that is able to finance my dreams and my daughter's dreams as well. I don't look at music as a job because I love it.
Come on now.
I love it.
If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
You never look at it as a job, and just being able to create and share with the world and then get feedback, whether it's good or it's bad. Like, the journey has been amazing. This year has been a whole lot different because I've been investing into the craft a lot. I think last year, like, I just took a seat back. I had a lot with my daughter and her basketball, and I just put the focus and attention on her.
Okay.
And then this year, like, I made a commitment to myself, like, we gonna go in, like, we gonna go all the way in. Like, if I'm a bet on something, I'm a bet on myself, and I'm seeing the benefits behind it, and you got to invest in yourself.
You have to invest in yourself. And I think another thing that artists have to do is connect with good people, especially when you talk about managers. You need a Big Doeja, okay? You need somebody who when you ain't in them rooms, talk about you in a good way and make sure that they are grinding it out for you. You need a good team. So do you feel like you have a good team? I mean, of course I know Doeja, but everybody else around you,
a lot of people support me. It's just, I was sleeping on myself. I got the gift, but because of fear, insecurity, and what's on social media and stuff like that, I'm the one that doubted myself. So with me doubting myself, that put a lot of delay on my craft. And this year, it's been more so of, my engineer shared with me when I had our last studio session, he was like, man, it's more than just being in that booth. There's more than just, there's a business side to it. You gotta make connections, you gotta network, you gotta engage with people, you gotta broadcast yourself like you are a product. And without selling your soul, you have to promote that, and it can't just be like, all right, well, I'm dropping a single, let me promote it for a couple of days, and then you just disappear. You
can't. You got to keep the momentum. I think even with what I just said, I'll go back, and I thought about this earlier today. When you say when you work or when you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. I go back. Let me go back and let me rephrase that. Okay, when you do what you love, it never feels like you're working. And if you have to work, you don't mind doing it because it's something you love to do. And I feel like that is where we are. When you're doing the music that you're doing and you're putting it out there and you're working with good people and you love to do it, it's like, let's get to it. It's
not a job. I wake up every day excited to connect.
And I want to do better, and I want to get out here, and I want to brand myself, and I want people to know how great I am, because, and even when you don't have the ability and the capacity to believe in yourself, like you said, you have other people that you can trust their judgment enough to know they want the best for me, and they see something in me, so I'm gonna go off your word if I can't. can't take mine by myself. And I will say, I was listening to Wallow and Gilly. You know, they had a podcast. Yes, man. I do. And he was saying marketing is like second after God is marketing. You know what I'm saying? Marketing is so heavy.
And I never understood that. I thought it was just get a beat, right, put it on SoundCloud, and just seeing like the different aspects. You gotta market, you gotta network, you gotta promote. It's a lot, but it's fun.
It is a lot, but it's fun.
It doesn't feel like a job to me. It doesn't. Oh man, I gotta send out 10 posts. Nah.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
And shout out to DJ Chuck T. Do you know DJ Chuck T?
I do know DJ
Have you
Chuck
ever
T.
taken a class?
No, I haven't.
You gotta take the class. Like
I heard
the class,
his information.
It really is. It is because it lets you know, like, okay, these are the entities that I need to tap in with to get my money and this and that. And not even, like you said, not even just about the money. There's so much more to gain from this type of lifestyle than monetary gain. It's like creativity and it's authenticity, and so it's a lot of great things. But look, I keep on talking to you because I like talking to you. Okay, what has been a life lesson that you've learned that you would say like is the one that just rings in your brain and what they say live rent free and is always kind of at the forefront of your mind? I would say mine is like grow. Let your motivation be growth. As long as you're motivated to grow, you'll never get old.
You can be motivated. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. I can be motivated all day, but if I don't put no drive, no work ethic behind it,
come on now.
Motivation just sitting on the shelf for me. Motivation is easy to grab. It's easy to grab off the shelf.
You're right.
But can you put that discipline in your pocket and keep it in your pocket?
You heard, period. Oh, okay.
I think the biggest lesson that I've learned, them tables will always turn. Once you learn your value and you learn that when you go to a table, first of all, learn that you can set the table yourself. You may start out with the paper plate and the paper forks and the styrofoam cup and stuff like that, but never stop believing in yourself to where you don't think you are worthy of eating off the finest china. And when you do go to a table, also know when you give somebody the power to feed you, you also give them the power to starve you.
Right.
So the biggest lesson I've learned is I may be eating out of a takeout tray today, but if I keep putting in that work, put that meal on the fine china.
And you know what? And what you just said right now, I don't care if I'm eating on a paper plate or china, as long as I'm eating. As long as I'm eating, baby. I just need that ability to eat, okay? Yeah. Come on now, because sometimes people get so hung up, and not you, but just thinking about it in general, sometimes people get so hung up in what it is that they're eating off of, they forget to eat. Just eat. The eating and getting the substance and the nutrients, that right there is what's gonna matter, okay? That's what's gonna get you, you know, what my grandma used to say, fatten you up, you know. Not what kind of plate you ate off of. We ain't gonna think about that once you full.
As long as you eat.
You know, as long as you eating. Well, look, how can these people eat up your music? How can they reach you? Where do they find your music at? Where do they go?
Instagram, About Time 86, Facebook, Tiffany Zapata, Spotify, About Time. That's where you can find me at.
Listen, now, I don't even know what to say. I'm just saying, like, I know you have so much more in you. Are you writing a book?
You are like the fourth person that has asked me that in the past 6 months. No. Actually, I am in my music.
That's dope. You might be the first. I'll say that off camera. I just had a little idea. I'm gonna say that one off camera, okay? So I think that y'all need to tap in. Tell me your name one more time.
About Time.
About Time, and it's spelled just like that.
ABOUT/TYME.
See, yeah, y'all was like, oh, Miss Good News, you don't know. No, about time. Because y'all know y'all be spelling these names different, and you got to spell it exactly the same. Yeah, on Instagram, you won't find a person. Okay? So, listen, I am Ms. Good News. I'm right here with About Time, and it is about time for y'all to go check out this music. Don't play with it. Stay with it, get to it, and do it, because that's the only way to get it done. Okay? I'm Ms. Good News. You can't lose with good news, and we out.